What up, YouTube? This is Jon Snow speaking from Jon Snow Sports and Fitness, and today I'm going to talk about yesterday, day one, the NBA playoffs. My thoughts on what happens during the games, and predictions for today. Let's get started. Okay, the first game, the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. This game was won by the Brooklyn Nets. They won 94-87. In this game, Deron Williams played a really good game. Joe Johnson for the Nets, they really stepped it up. They both had 24 points. Joe Johnson had 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Deron Williams had 3 assists. Also, Paul Pierce played really well, and Livingston really helped seal things together. So the Nets, I expected them to win this game, and I expect them to win this series in 5 or 6 games. Now, for Toronto, the key players, Kyle Lowry had 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. Jonas Valanciunas, I hope I said that right, had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And Greivis Vasquez off the bench had 18 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. That pretty much covers the Nets and Raptors. Like I said, I predicted the Nets to win this game, and I'm not surprised at all. The Nets have all the playoff experience needed, and I think Jason Kidd's doing a really good job with that team. He's really gotten them to buy into his system. Now, the next game, the Warriors and Clippers. This was the most exciting game I saw yesterday. The Oklahoma City game was okay too, but this was the best game that I saw last night, the most entertaining. And my thoughts on this game were, obviously the Warriors won 109-105. Now, this game was up and down, fast-paced, no defense, modern NBA style game. Here's some key stats from the Warriors. David Lee had 20 points, 13 rebounds. He had 8 of 13 field goals. And Klay Thompson had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He made 7 out of 20 of his field goals. Not a good field goal percentage, but it'll do. It's the playoffs. It's gonna be a lot harder to hit 50% of your shots. But the thing I noticed most about the Warriors were they're really good offensively. They got a really good 3-point shooters on their team, and they played really hard. They really improved with Mark Jackson as their head coach, and he seems to have a really good grip on what it takes to win in the NBA. I really like what he's been doing with that team. And for the key stat for the Clippers, this is what ruined their game yesterday. Blake Griffin fouled out. He only played 19 minutes the whole game. 19 minutes because he was in foul trouble. Now, even though he only played 19 minutes, here are Blake Griffin's stats from yesterday. 16 points. That's 16 points in 19 minutes, folks. That's awesome. 6 of 13 field goals. He had 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And Chris Paul, he stuffed the stat sheet. He had 28 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals. But I'm not going to let Chris Paul slide. He choked down the stretch. He choked. He missed several key shots. And if LeBron would have done that, or any other superstar, they would have gotten attacked. But Chris Paul does it, and he never gets blamed. I'm not that guy. Chris Paul deserves some blame for this loss. Down the stretch, he missed several key shots that would have put them ahead. But he stuffed the stat sheet. He just didn't deliver when it was needed most. And J.J. Redick really stepped up for him with 22 points. He made 4 or 5 of his threes. Now to the next game, the Atlanta Hawks and the Indiana Pacers. Now, I'm not going to lie, this one really shocked me. I didn't think Indiana would lose at home in Game 1 against Atlanta. They lost at 101-93. Some key players for Atlanta were Paul Millsap with 25 points and 8 rebounds, and Jeff Teague. He had 28 points and 5 rebounds, 9 of 19 field goals. Now, here's what I'm going to say about this game. This is a disappointment. Indiana is playing down to the level of their competition. They're really reeling right now. They're vulnerable. They're the most vulnerable team in the playoffs. This series might go 7 games, folks. Don't be shocked if it goes 7 games. I expect this series to go 7 games. For Indiana, some key stats were Paul George had 24 points and 10 rebounds, 4 steals and 5 assists. But here's the thing. He was 6 out of 18 shooting. That's bad. That's a horrible field goal percentage. Lance Stevenson added 19 points, 7 rebounds, 3 of 6 from threes. But here's the biggest disappointment. Yeah, I didn't let Chris Paul have any slack, so I'm going to be even worse on Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert had 8 points and 8 rebounds, 0 blocks. Look, I don't know what Roy Hibbert's deal is. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he doesn't have what it takes to win. But look, Roy Hibbert's 7'2", 280 pounds, and he had 8 rebounds, no blocks, 8 points. Folks, there's no reason he can't get 12 rebounds a game. I do not understand how he doesn't dominate. There's something that the coaches need to do with him. Maybe he needs to see the performance psychologist to get his head on straight. But Roy Hibbert needs to get it together. Now, to the final game, Oklahoma City and Memphis. The Oklahoma City Thunder really handled Memphis in this game, 100-86. Memphis, they weren't hitting most of their shots. Their key players had field goal percentages below 50%. Randolph was 7 of 21 for 21 points and 11 rebounds. Marc Gasol was 7 of 19 for 16 points and 6 rebounds. He also had 4 assists and 3 steals. And Conley was shut down by Westbrook, 6 of 16 for 16 points, 11 assists and 3 steals. And Durant, my favorite for the MVP, he took over this game. He had 33 points, 13 out of 25 shooting, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. So he completely stuffed the stat sheet. Russell Westbrook, his sidekick, added 23 points, 8 of 19 field goals, 10 rebounds and 5 assists. And then Serge Ibaka really did a good job at contributing with 17 points, 6 of 8 field goals. He had 9 rebounds and 4 blocks. So obviously I predicted Oklahoma City to win this game. But the only game that really surprised me here was the Atlanta game, Atlanta, Indiana, and the Golden State game. I expected the Clippers to win, and I expected Indiana to win. But we'll see what happens during the series. I expect both of those series to go 7 games. And stay tuned for part 2 for my thoughts on today's games.